So with this short video demonstration, we're going to show how the proper operation of one of our hanger winches. This particular one is the one for GMA, and it's exactly the same style as the one for SBS. So a couple things. You'll notice we've got the trickle charger right here. We've got the hand remote, okay? Obviously the winch, and inside here is the battery. And right here we have the manual operation for the winch as well. So a couple things. We've got our airplane. We've just come in from a flight. Okay, so it's ready to come back. We don't have the strength to do it, so we need the winch to assist. So to remove this, you simply push down on the tab and lift. Okay, so we'll keep that in our pocket for now. Don't really have to go into this. This is just where the battery's kept. So once again, we have the manual power switch here is in and out. Okay, so we can go and use that. But because of the distance we have to take it to the aircraft, this lever here is the freewheel lever and locking system for the winch hub. So if you turn this into the up position, it will freewheel. So that's the best way to guide this out to the aircraft. And the hook is simply hooked onto the tail hook. Like that. We come back to the winch. The lever then gets switched down into the winching position. Okay, we can use our hand. This one is, being that this is synthetic winch cable, there's not as risk to get burrs and things on your fingers, so it's not as much of a concern, so you don't really have to wear gloves if you don't want to. So we're just going to snug up that cable a little bit, like that, just so that way we want to do that so that we don't create any unnecessarily furls in that. So we're going to double check and make sure this works. So we hold this on for approximately 10 seconds till it lights up. We'll do a quick test. Okay, so it works, which is great. So now we're going to go to the front of the aircraft and connect the tow bar and then guide the aircraft into the hangar. Okay, so what's really important about safety though when you're winching, okay? So if you're by yourself and you're at the front of the aircraft, there's not going to be any concerns. The issue is though, if for some reason this cable should snap, okay, there is a danger zone, okay? So anywhere from where it's connected to the object to the winch is a potential danger zone. So there should not be any people, animals, children, right? People or children, around the cable area at all. Okay, so they should be on other side, preferably out there would be the best, away from the winching area, because typically when cables snap, when they're under load, they will typically go towards the source. So that's typically the situation. So just for a safety issue, nobody should be in this danger zone at all. Okay? And typically the danger zone extends from the length of the cable that's extended and arcs out. Okay? So everybody should be standing clear of that. And that's essentially it for as far as the winching safety issue as far as the cable and the snapping. Okay, so we're at the front of the aircraft. Props in a good position to push it back. We're going to lock it up to the front. Okay, we've checked that it's lined up. Obviously we want to have the wheels on the center line, but more importantly, we're going to be coming in and lining it up off the, if you want to bring the camera over here, lining up off of one of the main gears, because that's the line we need to go in on. So again, the winch is ready, or the controller is ready. It's wireless. And we're guiding it back in. All we have to do is make sure that one of the main gears is on that yellow guide-in line, and as long as that's happening, we won't have to worry that the wings will get too close to the edge of the hangar. It's a nice controlled winching. It takes a few minutes, but it's a nice controlled way of bringing the aircraft in. And for anybody that doesn't have the physical strength to bring the aircraft back in, this is the preferred method of putting it in the hangar so we don't get any hangar rash. Aircraft is now parked, and we obviously simply take that off, put down the wheel chocks as necessary on both sides. And again, we use the manual pressure off. So when we're bringing this in, we want to make sure that this becomes loose. We want to keep some tension on this when we bring it in. Okay, we want to make sure we keep the line not crossing over too much if possible, guiding it in. And you can just stop where it's got the protective sleeve. And that's fine. It doesn't have to go any further than that. If you wish, you can hang it on the hook there as well. And that's all we have to do with that. Make sure you put the turn the remote off. Once again, hold it for approximately 5 seconds, and it just goes back in the cradle. And you're good. Make sure that the charging light's on and the cord is plugged in, and that's all you have to do. Alright, so we're going to just have a little bit of a short training video about the winch for IUK. It is a different model. Operation is very similar. We'll just talk about some of the differences. So, as far as the remote control goes, this one has a power button. So you simply hold that until the red light comes on. Can you see the red light? Perfect. So, once that's activated, it will operate the same as the other winch. Okay, once again we have the manual winch operation there, and that's all you really need to worry about. Of course, the plug is here for the trickle charger. Now the difference though right now, this one has the factory wire cable on it. So in that case, it's mandatory that you wear protective leather gloves, so that you don't have the risk of getting any burrs or cuts in your hands. And this will be replaced with a synthetic, so it matches the other two winches just for reducing kinking and ease of use, because the cables tend to furl up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so one thing we're going to talk about is the slightly difference in operation of how it freewheels. There's a knob here, and you just pull it out and turn it slightly. So it's sticking out like that. So it will allow the winch cable to freewheel out similar to the other winch. When it's time to put it back in, you simply turn the knob till it seats back in and it'll lock in place. And once again, you can bring it in under tension to keep the cable snug to the aircraft until you move to the front of the aircraft and use the remote. So essentially that's the only differences. Once again, wear the leather gloves. Fine if it just hangs like that. Keep the leather gloves here. Remember, don't forget to, if it's not already off, make sure it's turned off, and make sure it stays on the shelf there and ensure that the cable is actually plugged in. Sometimes somebody might use this extension cord for another task, and hopefully they've plugged it in. We need to have it, as you see, it's already charging the battery. We want to make sure it's fully charged for a person that needs it next. So that's about it.